Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon and joining us at our Threads virtual cultural symposium. And I guess I'd like to begin by welcoming you and introducing you as three people who have something in common, which is that you're all newcomers to Canada. So first and foremost, welcome. It's lovely to have you with us. And we're going to be talking with you today. Our session is entitled Nurturing the Self, Comfortable in My Own Skin. I guess my first question to you all would be, how did you choose Canada? What informed your decision to come here specifically?
For me, it's kind of funny because I really wasn't looking to, leave Nigeria to embark on this journey. It was like the farthest thing from my mind. But I have a friend who was constantly talking about it. Oh, Mike, we could go to Canada. We could go to Canada. And at that point, I thought of like my children. Um, it definitely was going to be better for them if they moved and had their education here in Canada.
My partner, I met her in Ireland, and she got a residency program here. She's actually from BC, so I joined her here in Saskatoon. But I also really wanted to study before I left. I did some study before in Ireland, but I wanted to take my writing a little further, so there was a program here that also enabled me to join my partner and to study at the same time. So that's what brought me here.
And for me, it's mainly about seeking more independence and self-improvement in my expertise. I have been teaching English and physical education in my hometown in a very big high school for about 6 years already.
So could maybe each of you speak a little bit about this period of adjustment in coming here and settling and, fitting in with the society?
When we made that move and came to Canada, that a lot of things were going to change. And like I said, even if I hadn't really thought about it, but being here, you just automatically know, like, you know what, I've left the comfort of and the familiarity of where I grew up. I've lived all my life. Little things, I would take for granted, just being able to step out of my door and visit a neighbor, or drive 10 minutes away and my parents are there, or my siblings, I'm driving to work and I can stop by their houses and all that was going to be taken away. But I really didn't see it then or realize how difficult that was going to be. But then arriving here and then realizing that you're more or less like cut off from everything and everyone that is familiar to you, and you're going to have to start all over again. And, things you took for granted, in my case, because of the nature of, my work and everything, my writing back home in Nigeria and all that. And then coming here and then realizing that, you have to leave all that behind and you have to start all over again. That was pretty challenging.
I came a few years ago now, so I feel that I've adjusted a little bit more than when I first arrived. It's difficult to think back sometimes, but I think there's a lot of little things, and now I've kind of forgotten about them. But even something like at home, we drive on the other side of the road, so even a small adjustment like that could end up being quite a big change. So remembering to look at the other side of the road. So something little like that was a little bit of an adjustment. Back home, everything is a lot smaller. Like the roads are smaller. It's easy to walk around places. So here, it's a car-driven city. So like it's all cars. So walking, I like walking, but it was a little bit more of a challenge in the winter. But I threw myself into lots of things. I was doing the MFA writing program, so that really helped. There's a good writing community in Saskatoon, and they're very welcoming. So that was one way to kind of get involved with the community. Other things, I work quite a lot with the food bank. I got involved with that on volunteer and a staff kind of level. So that has really helped me engage and become a part of the community and see what's kind of going on and what's available, and to kind of give back a little bit too. That's something that I've experienced.
That you realize, oh, you gonna stop this, where you will feel so isolated and eventually you'll just cry and go back home. I don't want that thing happen. I want to at least try a bit. So sometimes I not just try to, I force myself to interact with people. But then I find one best strategy is there's always something you can learn from somebody. So when I interact with other people, I just thinking, oh, what's I'm going to learn from this person? And all of a sudden, everything just becomes so interesting. And I guess I can't really say my procedure of adjusting to this environment already comes to an end. There's no end. Maybe it takes me forever to get used to a life here. Even back in China, I still have many challenges. I'm not saying I'll just be fine for everything. And like here, I even ask people for help if I don't know how to feel the air of my tires. But back home, it's too shamed to ask people about that, right? Yeah, so there's always pros and cons. But anyways, I guess I already decided no matter where I am, I'll just interact with people and then I'll be fine. That's my best way to have my own way of adjustment. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, those are really interesting insights and stories. And, you're talking about interaction with Canadians, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, other newcomers like yourself. And maybe you could talk a little bit about, your ethnic background and the ways that you feel that you're belonging, or what is that process?
I think for me, the fact that I am from a visible minority makes it. I'm not trying to take away from whatever other newcomers may have experienced, but probably makes it twice or three times as hard. Because if you walk down the streets of Saskatoon, for instance, chances of running into someone with my skin color is smaller, slimmer, right? So most times you're in a situation, you're in a place, and you find out I'm the only dark-skinned person, or the only black person in the room, or in this office, or in this department, or something. So it instinctively makes you stand out, and then. I speak English, Nigeria. Our lingua franca in Nigeria is English. So we were taught in English, and we write in English. I write books in English. I dream in English. But my accent is different. Yeah. So even though I know how to speak English, I will suspect reasonably well.
Very well.
Yeah. When I'm in a room with other Canadians, I kind of feel self-conscious. And then from your interactions, they confirm that you're new. And then you get asked questions like, oh, do you guys have McDonald's in your country? Yeah, you're asked some questions that sometimes you want to just scream, oh, and just throw a map at them. I'm like, this is where I'm from. So in terms of ethnicity and experience and all that stuff, those are some of the experiences that we have.
I guess underneath, I never think I'll belong here. But yeah, have a feeling of belonging is great, is terrific because you feel you're not alone anymore, right? But I remember one time my landlady invited many of her relatives to come to celebrate her 95 years old birthday. So because I enjoyed singing a lot, and when I stayed with her, she always asked me to kind of sing along with her a bit for some old English songs. I enjoyed a lot. And that if I can just bring a little bit of happiness to them, I'd love to do that. But at the same time, if I put myself into another people's perspective, and I was wondering if it was my birthday, right? Chinese identity is a little bit exotic for some people. You know, it's very exotic. And at the same time, because I know some martial movements, and then they'll think, oh, you must come a relatively nice family because you received a very good education. And, we don't speak English at all. In my hometown, I started to learn English when I was already 15. It's very late compared with other people from the first tier cities. And I understand there are so many relatively wealthy Asian students in my university or something. So it kind of gave, other people around I am exception of my country is because I received good education. That's the reason I can come here and further my study.
I guess I wasn't prepared for being treated or being kind of considered exotic, which I wasn't prepared for. Here, everyone seems to love the Irish, so so if I open my mouth, it's just everyone wants me to talk and to hear an accent, and I don't I've been all over. I've lived in lots of different countries, so for me, I don't consider being Irish exotic. I was listening to what you said, Michael, about feeling that you were or being a minority in Saskatoon, and I wouldn't pretend to have. Do you know that feeling or that experience here? Because I think with my color, I can blend in a lot with the minority, is white here. So I can, when I enter a room, like you say, when you enter a room, you're maybe it's more noticeable. Whereas when I enter a room, no one really asks me, where are you from right away? Because being white is kind of the standard here. But I'm well aware, being treated like other ethnic minorities being treated poorly or differently compared to me in different situations. But I get the thing that Irish people are supposed to be able to sing and dance, and I can't really carry a tune or dance. So it's been quite uncomfortable at times where people genuinely maybe wanted to hear me sing an Irish tune, but I was don't ask me because I'm not capable of carrying a tune. So they've been almost physically trying to drag me up to the mic or the center of the room to sing. So that's sometimes a little uncomfortable for me. Yeah. I'm quite quiet and shy usually, and having to be this exotic Irish person is sometimes a struggle. But it's maybe made me get out of myself a little bit more and kind of to share my story a little bit more with people.
Is there anything that's been really hard for you, or one of the hardest things that you've had to face since you've come to Canada? One specific incident that you might want to share with us, or anything that's really kind of shocked you, you didn't expect that would happen?
All my qualifications wouldn't matter. And people would expect that I should just throw all that away because I need to have Canadian experience and start all over again. That's something that was really, really shocking for me. I didn't quite expect that, okay, maybe I was a manager back home in Nigeria and I would just, jump right to it and become a manager here. But I thought, okay, some level of, like some cushion, would be nice. But to then realize that in so many places, it really didn't matter. Like, like they just couldn't care less where you have been or what you have done or how educated you are or how qualified you are. You just have to start all over again.
Yeah, I guess I was lucky that I actually decided to come here. So, like, if things are difficult, like I remind myself, well, I made the choice to come here. Of course, winter is manageable now, but at first it was difficult. But I think the thing that surprised me, and I wasn't really thinking about it before coming here, was I wasn't expecting to hear like "God Save the Queen," like the British national anthem, and for me that's there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
So to have to stand when that was played in formal occasions here was quite difficult for me to deal with, because we've had over 700 years of British rule.
Challenge is I don't want to talk about any nationalities. I don't even want to talk about countries. But all I want to say is, I guess, in this so diverse environment, people actually don't feel that insecure. Feel so in Canada, just for me, okay? Is to try to keep my true color and at the same time always be aware how to protect myself.
People, right? The challenges are existential. Like as casual as we may want to make it sound, right? It's almost a question of life and death.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for some, that's how the challenge can be, and whether it was the weather, like if you weren't properly schooled or prepared for it, whether it was getting a job, and the more nobody lets you put a foot through the door, the harder it is for you to take care of yourself and your family.
What would that be about your own culture that you would really want them to know that perhaps they're not knowing or not having the chance to know?
I talk about here, try to be wisely loyal to something you believe. And then trust me, would be something you value most for your entire life, being loyal. Yes.
Ireland has been, over the years, has been changing quite a lot, with more referendums around same-sex marriage, and we had the abortion referendum not too long ago. So I guess the thing I would maybe say is that Ireland is changing quite a lot, and maybe the stereotypes or the idea of maybe the older idea of what Ireland is like, thankfully is becoming more open and more progressive, led by kind of the young people of Ireland. So it's nice to see that.
One of them is my Nainjano de carry last spirit. Essentially resilience, like we don't give up. Like wherever we find ourselves, we would find a way, a positive way to be a part of the conversation. So we are resilient, and that's what I teach my children, and I hope my children will teach their children that as well. Across the generation and along the line, that's a strain from my Nigerian side that I hope will get ingrained into their Canadian side, and the Canadian side of their children and their children's children.
It's been wonderful to have this conversation with all of you. I think that Canada doesn't really know what it has when it has you. And sometimes I think maybe we take things for granted. So I think that, we should evolve as a country, as a people, and that by having you with us and us with you, that this sense of moving to another level and evolving is bound to happen. It's just a matter of time. And I'd like to finally say that I think it's wonderful that you're out in society engaging, because you should feel free that whenever you're challenged, that you come and answer that challenge, and that you help educate our people because they need it. And so it's a two-way street. I'd just like to thank all of you today for what I see, and I think maybe you will share with me as a very interesting conversation about belonging and about evolving our societies and communities. And I would like to just thank you, all of you, Michael, Taidgh, and Grace, for sharing your stories. And together the future will be brighter and stronger. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I thank